Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Author Luz, and welcome to today's special Author Spotlight hosted by Wakeelite Book Club. My name is Ibrahim from Wakeelite Book Club. We are truly honored to have you join us for this meaningful conversation featuring Author Louise Dupont and a deeply moving book, Hiding Treasures. Hiding Treasures is a story of love, loss, resilience, and transformation through the true story of our son, André, and our own journey following his tragic passing. Luz invites readers into a deeply personal experience that explores grief, healing, hope, and the hiding gifts that can emerge even from the life's most difficult moments. This book touches on the sensitive subject of suicide with remarkable grace and compassion, while also offering a message that many readers have found inspiring and comforting. It reminds us the importance of human connection, understanding, and finding meaning in defining moments of our lives. Today, we have the privilege of hearing directly from Luz about the inspiration behind the book, her writing journey, the lessons learned along the way, and the impact she hopes Hiding Treasures will have on readers around the world. Whether you have already read the book or are discovering it for the first time, we encourage you to engage, listen openly, and participate in the discussion. This is a wonderful opportunity to connect with both the author and fellow readers in a thoughtful and supportive space. Please join me in giving a warm Wakilite Book Club welcome to our featured author, Luz Dupont. Author Luz, thank you for being here with us today. We are delighted to have you here and we look forward to hearing your story. Nice meeting you and good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you very much for your participation in this auto spotlight. So before we move forward to dive into the main purpose of this spotlight, can you please give a little introduction about yourself, your author's journey, so readers can get engaged and know more about you?
Okay, my name is, it's Louise Dupont. I live in Winnipeg, and I wrote this book quite a long time ago, about over 20 years now, after my son died by suicide. And generally, I just write a bit of poetry and I do some journaling. So that's about it for my writing.
Wow, thank you very much. Do you have any more publications you've published? I mean, books you've written that readers can also
Mm,
know more about this journey?
Yeah, no, there's not. Well, I initially wrote the book in French under a different title, but that's about all that I've published, except for some poetry.
Wow. So you mean you have the book in different languages, in French, English, and other languages, right?
Yeah, just French and English.
Yes, that's fine. Can you please take the readers through the book? What's it about? What are the concepts, hidden concepts in the books, and why giving it the name Hidden Treasures?
Okay, I called it Hidden Treasures because it's really a spiritual book, I find, and there's lots of like hidden messages within the book, and that's why it's called Hidden Treasures. And it's about, after my son's death, I kind of found different things, you know, uh, that helped me to deal with his loss.
Oh, is that all?
Well, if you read the book, there's different messages that there's a message about mindfulness. There's a message about like actually, even if I've never had a chance to explain this to people before, but if you actually look at the cover of the book, my son is juggling with fire, and if you look at the upper flame, there's two hearts right in the upper flame. There's one that's a big one that's leaning towards the left, and there's a much smaller one on the tip of the wand. So this to me is a hidden treasure. And actually, the slogan for visiting Manitoba is called uh, Canada's Heart is Calling. So that's quite incredible, actually, that, my son is juggling with fire and there's two hearts in the flames.
Oh,
So that's an example of a hidden treasure.
oh, so sad. I think this is a really touching story. It's really a touching story which really can cause a tragedy indeed.
Mhm. And then also, if you look at the little story that my son wrote, uh, that's full of meaning too, because when I found this story, it was hidden in some of my husband keeps a record of the kids' drawings and things, and he in his papers I found that little story called "Lost in the Storm," and it's a very symbolic story. It's because like he got lost in the labyrinth, and like when I first saw the story, it was like, oh my God, he captured in that little story um, what I felt my whole life was. Like I had suffered from depression and I was always struggling to find a way out, just like he was trying to find a way out of the labyrinth. And then at the end, he's accompanied by a ghost of light. So that was very comforting to me to think that my son, was accompanied home, I guess. He was accompanied home by a ghost of light.
Oh, sorry. So
So that was very, very,
so sad to hearing this. This is very a kind of heartbreaking story. Can you give a little explanation about what you mean by a ghost of life?
well, the ghost of life is, that you're being accompanied by something that's, uh, well, I don't know. I guess it could be God. It could be an angel. I don't know. It depends, I guess, what how you think.
Wow.
And actually, when my son died, there was an angel.
There was
Um,
an angel.
there was a 21-year-old girl who was at the scene of the accident, and she kind of took over at the scene of the accident, and she helped my son to pass away. So that was very,
So sorry. So
once I found that out, it was like, wow, thank God somebody was there with him.
oh, so sad. Sorry for the reminder. So
I
sorry.
know, I don't mind being reminded at all.
Oh, so sad. This is very heartbreaking. And my mission here to get engaged with the readers is, I believe, you as a mother and what can bring your initiative to write this book. I believe there should be some lessons you would like families, mothers like you to learn from this book? What are the lessons you would like readers, families, mothers like you to also learn from this book? Thank you very much. Sorry for the sad remember.
No, that's okay. Well, really, it's just about, accepting. Like, I totally understood why my son took his life. I mean, he had struggled. I know he was depressed before. he died. And because I've suffered from depression, I totally understand why he would have done that. And at first, of course, I was super mad. Like, why did you do that to us? But he didn't do that to us. Like, it was a choice that he made for himself, and I just had to accept that. That's part of life, is accepting that people are going to, you know, go out of your life. And it was hard to do that. Of course, it took me a long time to accept that, it's okay what he did. Like, for him, that was his choice. It had really nothing to do with me. It was his choice, and that's all I can really say.
Oh, so sorry, so sorry. So sorry. It's a ghost of life indeed. Sorry for the heartbreaking storm. I think I don't want to move this forward more than it takes because I don't want to give you more remembrance about the past experience. But let's give
That it's I don't mind talking about it, so it's not a problem.
okay, no problem, no problem. What are the visions? I need some visions you've been visioning about this book, and how would you like it to transform in the nearest future?
Well, I don't really know. I mean, I think people in this day and age are having to deal with a lot of things, and so it's important to deal with your emotions.
Hmm.
And I think this book can help parents, I guess, deal
Wow.
with their emotions around this subject.
Wow. You mean how people deals deeply on emotion, right?
Yes, yes, that's right.
So truly emotion can happen in any angle and can happen in any aspect of life.
That's right. I mean,
Thank you.
everybody struggles. So,
Wow.
but you have to sort of deal with the emotion
So
that
how
certain things bring up.
so as a mother that encounter this kind of ghost of life, how can she handles this kind of emotion? How?
Well, I don't know. For me, it was writing the book that helped me. I cried so much. I mean, it took me like I wrote the book in French at first. It took me 5 years, and then the English one took about 2 years. And so for about 7 years, I cried my I cried my heart out pretty much.
Oh, I get this right. Thank you very much for the for the deep insights and more explanations of this. I think we should give an open door for readers because I can see many readers have their questions to ask. Maybe we can move further to asking questions from the readers. Maybe readers have some questions to throw into you. Please, moving forward, if you have your questions, please kindly ask directly to Author Luz. Okay, I think one question have coming. It says, are you seeing it from your screen? Are you saying the question from your screen? Or I should read?
No, no, I don't see it.
Abeg said, many people struggle to talk about suicide because it can feel overwhelming and uncomfortable. What conversations do you hope Hidden Treasures encourages among families and community?
Well, I guess people just need to talk about it. I can give you an example. One time I was in a group situation, and this somebody had read my book. He was a veteran, probably in his 60s or 50s or 60s,
Yeah.
and he came up to me after, and he said he had read the book, and he had really liked the book. And he said that when he, like, in his family, like, so he's 60 years old, and he said that his father died by suicide, and his father was in the army. And okay, so his father dies by suicide. And at the time, of course, nobody ever talked about suicide. And years later, um, this guy was telling me that his sister, who is probably in her 40s or 50s now, she did not yet know that her father had died by suicide.
Hmm.
Like that's how hidden it was in the past. I think now it's much better. People are starting to talk about suicide,
Oh,
and I think that books like my book will help people to
sure, sure,
talk
sure,
about it.
sure, 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 sure.
And I've heard other people who said the same thing. They regretted, like they've got members of their family who died by suicide like years ago, and nobody ever talked about it. And but now this person was saying, well, he really regrets that
Wow,
they had not talked about it
wow,
in the past. Like they should have talked about
wow.
it.
This was an appreciation and even an acknowledgement. I give you an applause from here. Applause to you for for taking this kind of decision. Here's another question from Victoria. Here's another question from Victoria. It says, Andre touches many lives during his short time on Earth. Was there a particular story or memory about him that didn't make it into the book but continues to stay with you together today? Or I should repeat the question. Should I repeat the question?
No, no, I understood the question.
Okay.
Uh, I don't really know. I know that in the book there's one example of when he had gone out biking outside the city and he had picked some flowers and then he had missed my birthday, so he presented me with these flowers. So that's really a good memory for me. Um, but apart from that, I'm sure there's if I thought about it, but it could take a while, for me to think of different things that would have happened.
Oh, I got that.
I don't, I can't really think of anything right now.
Wow, I got that. I got that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. Let's move on to the next question. Orion writes us a question. It says, I think Andre plays a vital role in this book. If Andre's life could be summarized in three words that captures his essence, what would those words be and why?
Well, I think he was a very, I mean, I compare myself a lot to him. I think I'm a lot like him. He was very curious. He wanted to know everything about the world. He traveled a lot. He was learning different languages. So, and yeah, he had lots of friends.
What
He
are,
was a good,
what are the
good little
what are the three words
story.
that can describe Andre plays his roles in the book? Andre roles in the book. Three words.
Sorry, I missed the question.
It says, Orion says, I think Andre plays a vital role in this book. If Andre's life could be summarized in three words that capture his essence, what would those words be and why?
Well, I would say curious, uh, determined,
Curious,
and I don't know. A third one would be he was a good little. He was when he was in a team. He was a team player.
wow. He was a team player.
Yeah.
Wow. Then curious,
Then what?
curiosity.
The careers?
Yes. I mean curiosity.
I'm sorry, I don't understand
Okay.
the question.
After Andre was a team player, is there any other attributes to give him
Well, I'd have to think about it, I guess.
apart from being a team player?
Yeah. Uh, well, he was a very, being in sports, he was very good. He was very talented. He was agile.
He was a
Um,
team player. He was very talented and agile, right? Thank you
Yes,
very much.
yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, I think Aurion also asked another question regarding this question. It says, I think you can make his role a visual lesson as a video to build more interest with your readers. What do you say to this? If I could understand,
No,
if I could understand,
I know that people are wondering why I'm not on social media, and I've never been, and I never will be, and I'm not going to do any videos because my husband and my other kids are still alive, and this would just be too hard for them. Uh, I just can't do it.
I understand. I understand. I think you've told me something regarding this some days back.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes. Let's move on to the
So
another question.
yeah, I
On
know it's very like
another,
I should be on social media, but I'm glad that I didn't go on social
yes,
media because I really wouldn't want my son's picture to be like,
yes, you got
just out there.
you got it. Another question from Sandra. It says, writing about the loss of a child is incredibly courageous. Was there a chapter or moment in the book that was especially difficult or surprising, healing for you to write? Writing about the loss of his child is
Yeah, well,
is,
the hardest part of writing the book was,
is
of course,
incredibly
explaining
courageous.
how he died.
Yes. Was there a
That
chapter
was
or
very that
moment in the
was
book that was especially difficult or surprising, healing for you to write?
well, there was the section on how my son died. That section was very hard because, of course, it brought me back to everything that happened.
Sorry.
But you know, it's also a very hopeful book because there's so many people who were good to us. That was very hard to, well, not accept, but that helped us so much that people did so many things for us.
Sorry.
And I'm sure, that's how people, generally, that's how people react. They help people who have lost someone.
Sorry for that. Sorry for that. Let's, I think we can ask another question from Faith. Faith asks a question. It says, Hiding Treasures is such a powerful title. Looking back now, what would you say was the greatest hiding treasures you discovered through your journey of grief and healing?
Okay, well, the hidden treasures that means the most to me is really the hearts on the cover, on the book cover, because I mean, this book was written in 2012, and it's just a few years ago that I have a friend who she's always looking for hearts, and she's always finding hearts, and she's the one that saw the hearts on the cover of the book in the flame, and to me those are very special, especially that Manitoba, the slogan for visiting Manitoba is Canada's heart is calling, so it's very meaningful.
Oh, so sad. Sorry for that again. Sorry for that once again. I don't,
You don't have to be sorry.
I'm,
I'm used to talking about it and I
I'm
don't mind
so,
talking about it.
it's so touching. I'm breaking there. I'm also feeling I'm feeling oh, such. I'm feeling the emotion. Okay, let's move on to another question from Alvin. It says, grief often changes our perspective on life. How has your understanding of love, family, and purpose evolved since writing this book?
Um, I'm much more present now to my family, I guess, than I was in the past. And I guess writing the book has helped. But if there's anything I would tell people is, be present with your family, with your kids. I don't think in the past, like when I was growing up or even as a young parent, I was really not that present to my kids, you know.
Hmm.
I kind of just would go through the motions, and I'm sure that's how a lot of people
Oh,
are still doing things. Like, you know, they're there, but they're not really there. They're
okay.
thinking of other things. They're doing other things instead of paying attention to their kid. It's so different
Sorry.
because now I can just enjoy her.
Oh,
You know, I can just look at her and it's like, wow, you know, here's this little person who's growing up.
oh,
And it's just an amazing thing. In the past, that's not how I really saw my kids. But in those days, we didn't think about stuff like that. We just, you know, we just kind of, well, at least I did. I kind of just existed without really necessarily paying attention to what was going on.
oh.
I don't know if you understand what I mean, but
Yes, I got it. Thank you for the for the explanation. Another question from Mary. She says many readers carry on unanswered questions about painful events in their lives. What would you say to someone who is still searching for meaning after experiencing a profound loss?
well, I mean, I think people should write. You could write about, you know, what's going on and like about your feelings. You could let them out that way. That's for
Can
sure
you
a very cathartic.
can you please repeat that and speak louder, please?
Okay, well, I think it's really about you could use writing as a tool to let the emotions out,
Hmm.
and you could also talk to a friend about it. You know, like you don't have to be afraid to talk about suicide. I mean,
Hmm.
it's a part of life. People are people will do it forever, and you know, it's something that's going to go on forever. I don't think it's ever going to stop.
Yes. No condition is permanent. From this, I got to understand that any person, anybody experiencing emotion should not keep it inside him or her. That means a closed mouth is a closed destiny, right?
Yes, that's true.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So let's move on to another question. It says, during the writing process, did you discover anything new about your relationship with Andre that you had never fully understood before?
Uh, did I? Oh, wow, that's a tough question. Well, you know what? I kind of discovered that my son was a lot more popular than I knew, and I know he was an educational assistant, and the kids at the school just loved him because he would often bring his bicycle into the school and he'd explain things, you know, and he really liked working with the kids. So I think that's something I learned that he was way more popular than I knew, and
Sorry.
he had lots of friends.
Hmm. So sad. So this this is the last question I'm finding on my list here. I think Mina sent the question. She said the book explores both heartbreak and hope. At what point in your journey did you realize that your story could become a source of comfort for others?
Well, I think pretty much all along I had, like, you know, I wrote the book also because if I hadn't written it, I don't think I could have lived with myself. That's how strong the feeling was to write the book. Like once I saw Andre's picture juggling with fire, it was like, uh, you know, I knew I had to write it. I knew there was a book that would be written about that picture. And at first, I kind of just let that go. Okay, well, somebody's going to write a book about this. But, you know, I soon realized that I was the only one who could write that book. And, you know, of course, I'm the only one who could have written it.
Oh, I got that. I
So,
got that. What?
yeah, I mean, it was such a strong feeling. I can't describe it.
Well,
Like honestly, I felt I couldn't live with myself if I didn't write it. So instead of, you know, I knew that this idea would just nag at me forever. So then I decided, okay, well, and I knew that the messages, like in the messages in the story, especially Hidden Treasures, I mean, Lost in the Storm,
Wow.
I knew that those messages, like they couldn't have been just for me. Like
Yes.
that had to be for other people, right?
Yes. Yes.
At least that's how I felt.
Wow.
And when I showed the story, when I showed the little story to other people, they all kind of said, "Oh, wow, that's pretty amazing that a young person could write such a powerful, a little story because it's so symbolic."
Wow. You really want to have an applause. You really want to
Oh,
have. Please, readers in the house, jam your applause for Miss Author Lewis for having this great insight with us and delivering our author's journey through the book Hidden Treasures. Thank you very much for taking your time and really appreciate your efforts. I believe our readers will like to leave some feedback on your Goodreads profile and also send you some acknowledgement through your mail. I
okay.
believe such.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me today.
Thank you very much. So, as we are moving towards the conclusion of this auto spotlight, Auto Luz, can you give a acknowledgement for the Wakeelite Book Club for featuring you today?
Yes, well, thank you very much for doing this.
Thank you very much. Okay, as we come to the close of today's auto spotlight, I would like to extend our outfit thanks to author Louise Dupont for sharing her story, her insight, and the journey behind hiding treasures. Through our words, we've been reminded that even in life's most difficult moments, there can be unexpected lessons, deeper understanding, and hope waiting to be discovered. No condition is permanent. Our courage in sharing such a personal experience has touches us all and given us much to reflect upon. To everyone who joined us today, thank you for being part of this meaningful conversation. Your presence, thoughtful engagement, questions, and support help make our literary community a place where stories can inspire, heal, and connect us together. On behalf of the Wakilite Book Club, thank you once again, Author Lewis, and thank you for our audience for spending this time with us. We hope today's discussion encourages you to continue exploring great books, meaningful conversation, and the hidden treasures within your own journey. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Author Luz, and look forward to seeing you at our next Author Spotlight. Thanks for having me.